You know what I'm thinking, bro?
Mm.
Instead of waiting till Sunday for to touch on the therapy topic, why don't we just touch on it now?
Uh, don't you dare run from it. There's no boogeyman. It ain't coming to hurt you. I think acceptance is somewhat of a virtue. To look your truth dead in the face without trying to escape the regret or disgrace. I write these words aimlessly, but not without hope that somehow I'll stumble on something that's dope. A clever little line, a thought to provoke myself in that listener digging for quotes. Hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Change Experiment. My name's Goham Rai. This is Cylinder. I'll allow Cylinder to introduce himself and tell you guys a few things about himself.
Yeah. Appreciate you. Go home, right? Um, this is a change experiment, something we both came up with together only a few weeks ago as of now. But yeah, we're both creators. We're both trying to the meaning of change experiment is literally within the name, you know. We're trying to do changes and experiment with things to create change in our everyday lives. So yeah.
Yep, just going off what he said. This is the Change Experiment. This is the first episode, and yeah, we're just experimenting with change. We're trying to see what changes we can make with what changes we can make with our lives, what we can do, whether it's through videos, whether it's through blogs, whether it's through any sort of medium, and just trying to be that change we want to see in our lives and just do it through experiments. So I reckon, as we said before, Cylinder, we'll talk
Yeah.
we'll talk about therapy today.
Hmm.
So like genuinely okay. What do you want to know? Because okay, for people out there who don't know me, my name's Rye. I've done therapy for the past 4, going to 5 years, and it's been with the same therapist. And Cylinder was he was curious to know how my therapy journey has been, what benefits I've got from it, how I even got into it, and basically what I get out of it. So I'll give the stage back. I'll let Cylinder talk again. What do you want to know, bro?
I guess what anyone would want to know, I think, which would be like, was it were you nervous going into it, or like what prompted you to go into it? I think.
What prompted me and was I nervous? To be honest, we'd have to go back to like 2017. That's when I initially got diagnosed with depression and stuff, anxiety, depression, all that typical
Yeah.
stuff, right? And
Mm.
that initial when I because I'm very like I have to reflect a lot and I'm already very tuned into like how I feel and what I'm thinking. And sorry, I know when my thoughts can get negative and when I'm in a low mood.
Mm.
And this was before therapy. So initially when I walked into therapy, I guess for the most part I wasn't nervous. I kind of felt free. I felt like, oh, I can get help. And oh, stuff does get better, you know?
Yeah.
So that was in 2017. But this most recent with the therapist I've been seeing for 4 years now, walking into that office was again, it was freeing. And that's when I really said no. I took initiative, I took things into my own hands and said, no, this is what I want. This is something I
Wait,
need.
sorry. The first time you walked in, you felt free.
Yeah.
You didn't feel nervous. You didn't feel like, because
I
like
don't,
in my head therapy, you're going and you're going to open up. But like
yeah.
if it's your first time, you're going and opening up to a stranger.
Mm.
So you're not thinking about like, because like,
Okay, I wasn't. I'll give you a bit more background. So I have 4 sisters, and I'm close to two of them.
yeah,
And me and my 2 sisters, we have we used to like, it stopped recently, but a couple of years ago we used to always do group calls. And
yeah,
in the group calls would just it's just a massive debrief. We're three-way call. I'd be coming home from work, I'd be coming home from wherever, and I'd be on the phone to them, and we'd be like, "Oh, how's your day?" And we'd go bang, 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 bang. We'd debrief about everything, whether it was we had a bad day, whether we had a good day. We'd laugh sometimes, we'd cry sometimes, we'd be angry at each other sometimes. It didn't matter. We'd always just debrief, debrief. So I got so used to opening up from my sisters that when I walked into a therapist's office, I just kind of felt like, oh, this guy wants to know about my problems. He's here. I'm paying him to listen to me. Why not? So it's kind of like that initial, my background of those years after I was struggling in 2017, opening up to my sisters, talking to them, is what led me to
No, I
feel
understand
comfortable in a
now.
therapist's office or
'Cause
psychologist.
I thought just straight off the bat, you just walked in and you're confident. I'm like,
No.
but now that you explained that, that was kind of like that warm up with your
Yeah.
sisters. Yeah, that
I,
makes sense.
and I just want to add something. When in 2017, when I first started going through my anxiety and depression,
Yeah,
I was really hesitant and like nervous and angry at like why is the psychologist trying to talk to me? Why is a therapist? Why do they think I have problems? I was that angry. I was just that teenage angst of like, nah, no one can help me. No one understands what I'm going through.
yeah,
So if I go back to 2017 when I was 18, when I was 16, all those
yeah,
ages, yes, I was initially nervous. I was angry. I was like, why me? Why me? Why me? But by the time I
mhm,
went 5 years ago, I was kind of in a better place where it's like I understood the purpose of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Um, did you like did anyone know you were going, or was
No,
this like
just
you just kept it to yourself?
I kept it to myself for the most part. But then I tried to let people know just to make it stop because now it's not as taboo as it was. But just to make it not so taboo, I would let people know, like, hey, I'm in therapy, or I reckon you should go get therapy, or I recommend therapy. I recommended it to you the other day. I was like, I think everyone should get therapy.
Yeah,
Everyone should get therapy. Like, because what do you have to lose? Okay, you're doing well in life. Okay, you can get better. Okay, you're doing shit in life. Okay, you can get better. You don't know what you're doing. Okay, you can go get better. Like, you don't lose insight. Oh, it doesn't work. So what? You're still in the same position. You see what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question.
That's good. For the duration that you've been there, has it always been the one person, or
Yeah.
have you given?
So I've seen my psychologist for about for 4 years. It's been on and off, but it's never ended. It's never been like you gotta go get re-referred type thing. It's just kind of been consistent. Like my mental health care plan will end. I'll go renew it, come back and see him the next week.
Yeah,
He's always been a part of my routine, about a part of my system in my life for the past 4 years.
and how would you say the benefits that you've seen in your own life, reflecting back on the years?
Yeah, clearer thinking,
Yeah,
clearer thinking. Not as critical, not as negative. I don't believe in like you gotta be positive, but like I'm just not like negativity doesn't work. Positivity doesn't always work, but negativity never works. Like with positive thinking, it's like 50-50. It might work sometimes, it might not work. But the fact that therapy stopped making me stop it helps stop making me think negative. That's a
yeah,
big benefit in it. Because negative thinking is always gonna work because you're negative. Like you're going that way. You're going
yeah,
down.
yeah.
But sorry, what do you want to say?
No, no, no. You keep going.
Okay. I just want to flip the question on you right now. What makes you want to get into therapy? Not obviously not nothing too detailed, but like what is it like? What intrigues you about it?
Um, personally, bro, it's just sometimes it's like just thoughts, because like
Yeah.
I know a therapist is supposed to like they know a lot about the human brain and how thoughts and how these type of things affect us. And
Yeah.
so I guess it's just like it's kind of like when you're a kid and you speak to an older person, you're trying
Mm.
to seek that elderly advice. And so that's how I kind of view a therapist. It's like this person obviously knows more about my thoughts and about the and how humans think and the
Mm.
brain and all this. So it's like wanting to get a better understanding. The same reason I read a self-help book. It's like this book has gems inside that if I apply it, it
Yeah.
can help me. So yeah.
That wisdom.
Mm,
That wisdom. You're looking for that wisdom. Yeah. I was similar, exactly. That's like when I obviously when I grew up, I came to that realization of like gems, like you get wisdom, like you don't lose any insight. But it's
yeah.
funny because the other day I remember you said Wallow, Gilly, Charlemagne the God, all these people like go to therapy, and that kind of made you think, okay, it's not such a bad thing. Can you?
Well, I think like I can only speak about our color because we are black. But
Yeah.
like black people, for example, we don't really embrace opening up, you know? I
Mm.
think in fact we're raised to toughen up, you know? We're raised to not show weaknesses. And like there's times where that makes sense. There's times where you should toughen up. But
Yeah.
then for the most part, I think there should be a balance to be able
Yeah.
to open up, you know? Because like if you just grow up and your whole life you're being told you're pretty much being told don't be weak, you know? That's impossible. We're human. We have to
Exactly.
express all the emotions. And weakness, there's a time where everyone feels it. And if you
Yeah.
can't freely cry or if you can't freely express yourself without thinking that someone is judging you, it's like it's like self-harming, you know? So I think yeah, it was more as black people, we're not really encouraged to do something like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
That does make sense because I was thinking, especially as black men,
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Like when you said that, I'm like, especially as black men. As black men, we're like it's we're just meant to be strong, you know. We're like we can't show any sort of weakness. But
yeah,
obviously, the reason I'm saying as black men is because obviously I'm a black man and that's all I've ever known. Like I'm just a man, like I'm a black man. But
yeah,
obviously, it goes for black women as well. They're just like the way they're seen. Obviously, they have their struggles. We have our
hmm,
struggles, and we all just feel like we're alone. And
yeah,
that's why we all need therapy because like to kind of fix that part of our brain that says, "Oh, we're alone." Because as human beings, we are tribal by nature. We want to be around people. We need that connection, that human connection,
mm,
which is like not to get off topic, but it's like I think that most Sudanese men need therapy. If most Sudanese men got therapy or spoke to someone, not necessarily therapy, just spoke to someone, I think there'd be less gang violence. I know that sounds like it sounds like a heavy statement, but there'd be like almost no gangs because everyone would feel in a community, everyone would feel included somewhere, whether
yeah,
it's talking to your basketball coach. Because when I say talk to someone or therapy, it doesn't necessarily have to be clinical. So
yeah,
you can talk to your basketball coach, you can talk to your soccer coach, just someone like you said before, someone elder, someone who's older, who has that wisdom, has those gems, you know?
mhm.
Do you hear me?
Oh, bro, nah, 100%. Nah, I agree with that. And I
Yeah.
think that's a very good point because like therapy, I think it's counseling. And
Yeah,
so anyone really can counsel you. Well, no,
yeah.
not anyone. But like everyone, I'm sure, has someone who can counsel them because
Hey,
usually it's just every. I'm sure everyone, the people who are listening right now,
mm,
I'm sure everyone has someone in their life that they consider a good role model, and so it's
exactly.
like that person is an example of someone who can counsel you. And
Mm,
to be honest with you, bro, like that's one of the things that I often seek. Like Um, I thank God for the ability to be able to always look for older people, like
Yeah.
whether it's my mom, whether it's my football coach, whether it's an uncle or an auntie or sibling. Like I
Mm.
constantly look for older people who can
Yeah.
teach me, you know? And I think, yes, I've done a lot of wrong, but a lot of the right I've done is based off those older people
Yeah.
guiding me, you know? And I agree, like, to go back to what you're saying before, by like, if more people looked into speaking to someone, it would
Yeah.
prevent them from a lot of different things. You know, like I see a lot of people misguided and see a lot of people kind of lost. And I think
Yeah.
it's the fact that they're not speaking to anyone who could be redirecting them, you know?
That someone could be like, hey, you are messing up. You're not doing the right thing, so get on the right path. Which I think is so
Mm.
big. Have you ever heard the quote, it's something like standing on the shoulders of giants?
Say that again.
Standing on the shoulders of giants.
Standing on the shoulders of a giant.
Of giants. So giants with an S. Meaning like
Standing on the shoulders of giants.
on the shoulders of giants.
Oh,
Meaning
as in like
your
mentors.
mentors, yeah, your mentors, your mom, your dad. I feel that's
Yeah,
what Sudanese people that's what young people need. We need to just
yeah.
stand on the shoulders of giants. We can't keep thinking we can do everything ourselves.
Mm.
Sometimes it's better to go stand on the shoulder of a giant. We can see everything more clearly. Which I feel that's what you were saying, like just standing on the shoulders of giants. That's what we need. Which is
Yeah,
why I
that's
always go to books. People think I like it's funny because people would think, oh, I they're anti-therapy, but it's like I go to therapy, I read books, I ask my siblings for advice, I ask older people for advice, I ask everyone for advice, I ask you for advice. But it's the same people who say I don't feel comfortable with therapy. They have no avenues of getting advice.
yeah.
Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
Say that last part again. It's the same people.
It's the same people who are anti-therapy who have no avenues of getting advice. They don't know where to go even find the information. But they're anti-therapy. It's like, why are you anti-therapy? You're anti-therapy because someone told you it's wrong. That person must isn't a good person. Not a good person, but you shouldn't be listening to that advice like, or just keep everything bottled in, or don't think about your actions, you know? I don't know if
Mm.
what I'm saying is making sense.
No, it makes sense. I think so. Something I'd like to add as well is like, for someone who may think that they don't have someone who they can look to or someone
Yeah,
they can call upon, it's like even the things we engage with, you know.
yeah,
Personally, for me, like I'm a huge J. Cole fan, and
yeah,
like I don't personally know J. Cole, but I'm aware of his music,
yeah,
and even things like his music, I can use that to guide me because it's like he's telling his story. I'm dissecting the good and I'm applying it
yeah,
to my own story. So it's like he doesn't know who I am, but I'm aware of his music and I'm using it to guide me. And so if you're someone who finds himself in a position where, oh, I don't have any siblings or I'm not close with any of my family members, it's like there's people out there. And so it's up to us to just find an example to follow.
yeah.
But yeah.
Like a mentor.
Mm.
I just want to add to what you just said about J. Cole being like you listening to J. Cole's music and just taking, would you say inspiration?
Uh nah, bro, I'd literally call it wisdom and advice, you know? It's like
Can I ask you a
my
question?
favorite song by him is Love Yours.
Yeah,
And the
exactly. Yeah,
chorus says it all. It's like no such thing as a life that's better than yours. And so
yeah.
listening to that song at the time I heard it, it
Mm.
was so easy to think, oh, I want that life, or I want that, or I want that type of car, or
Comparison. Yeah,
whatever. But then once I heard there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours, it was like my life is already good, you know?
yeah.
And yeah, like you don't need anything to make it better. You just
Mm.
you just need to embrace your own life and not not compare it to the person on your left or your right. But yeah, so I'd call it literally advice.
Yeah. No, the reason I asked you that is because I was gonna let you know, like, I used to read this article by James Altucher. I was trying to find it while you were speaking. I can't seem to find it, but what he said in it was, man, anything can be a mentor.
Hmm,
Anything can be your mentor.
sure.
Books, people you don't even know, authors that are dead, rappers that are dead, anyone that's not even here, like people can be your mentor. And it's
Hmm,
probably better if they're dead because they can't say no. Like you just take their advice and run with it, you know?
yeah, I get you.
But it's just funny, like yeah, I like that. Because yeah, I'm big on music, like music very like I have mentors in music. So
Hmm,
I listen to their advice to their lyrics.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, because we're still on the topic of therapy. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking like what I'm thinking is like I know those type of things are confidential, and
Yeah.
so explain what you can. But I'm just thinking as someone who goes there frequently, what
Yeah.
does a session look like? Like explaining what you can. So
Oh,
don't
without
obviously,
obviously taking without divulging personal information.
yeah. If it's
That's
too
saying
difficult, I understand.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I'm just going through my head trying to figure out a way to say it. I want to
Yeah,
say it because I think it would be very helpful for like listeners, you know.
yeah,
So a normal session would look like. So I go there mostly when I'm feeling down, like when I'm really like like for example, the last month I saw him in January, like the start of January. I didn't see him
yeah,
till about 2 days ago, and it's the start of February. So I went a whole
yeah,
month without seeing my psychologist. That's due to me just having a good time and not struggling with anything. And
yeah,
I went February just to touch base, kind of just like just to keep just to make sure like show them hey I'm alive, everything's all good, you know, like
yeah,
just keep it casual.
yeah.
So but
Yeah, I'm
normally
alive.
I'll go, huh?
This is the way you said it. This is show him like, hey, I'm alive.
No,
Sorry to interrupt.
but normally I'd go every 2 weeks when I'm feeling down, and it's like a normal session would just be like, hey, how you going? Like,
Yeah,
and I'm free to talk about what I want, but people like you and I, we like even for our meetings, we write notes for what we want to touch base on. Hey,
yeah,
you do the same. We both write notes like, oh, we want to talk about this, we want to talk about this. I'm gonna run this past. I'm gonna run this idea past Rye. I'm gonna run this idea past Aaliyah. You know.
mhm,
So basically, that's what I'll do. I'll write a note. I'll write a list of what's going on through my week. If I see something during the week that I want, like I think about, I'll write it down and I'll go talk to them about it.
yeah,
For example, something could happen at work, an incident, and I don't know how to deal with it, and it's really like making me feel uneasy. I'll wait till our session, and then I'll be like, "Hey, this, that, and the third happened at work. How do I deal with it?" And then he'll give me actionable advice. I can take the advice, I can not take the advice, or we can both dissect the advice and then come out with my own conclusion. So my
yeah,
therapist, my psychologist will never be like, "This is the right answer. I want you to go do this." No, he'll tell me something and I'll just spin it. He'll tell me like, "Oh, don't let the person control you." And I'll be like, "Okay, what that means to me is only control what I can do." And he'll be like, "Oh, yeah, if you see if that's what you see it, take it like that and use that as your own mantra, your own mantra, and
yeah,
use it as however you want to see it." He'll support whatever I want as long as obviously it's positive.
yeah,
He'll let me kind of figure things out for myself, be my own brain.
yeah,
But he's there to correct me. Like, hey, you're thinking a bit negatively. Hey, you're thinking it's wishful thinking. You know,
yeah,
that's kind of what a session normally looks like, if that makes sense. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. Like, that's us talking about therapy and how much of a role it can play into your life, whether it's positive. Most of the time, it is positive. You don't lose any insight, and if you do lose insight, you just must be a piece of work. But for the most part, I'm gonna pass it over to Cylinder and see what he has to say for the outro.
No, appreciate it, bro. And thank you as well for being open to talking about the subjects, because clearly it's, and obviously it's for like many people can be a sensitive topic. So
Yeah.
appreciate you being able to be willing and open. And
Yeah.
I do think there'll be people out there that will benefit from it, especially like, again, I don't like to be stereotypical or be like color based or anything, but like people like you and I, in the sense that
Mm.
where we grew up. But I think anyone can relate to it, you know? You don't
Yeah.
have to be black, you don't have to be African. Like, I think everyone goes through hardships, everyone goes through hard times, and so I think many people can resonate with this.
Yep, agreed.
Mm. I feel like sorry,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add as well again, like this whole thing is new to
Yeah.
Ryan and I. But
Mm.
yeah, it's just we're two guys, man, wanting to make some change, wanting to experiment, wanting better lives, you know?
Yeah.
To be honest, we have 9 to 5s, but like we're trying, our goal, our dream is to be able to do stuff like this that we genuinely enjoy full
Yeah,
time.
full time.
And like you could be listening, you could be watching this, and you may be thinking like, you know, you have a dream or something. Like, this is us just experimenting, this is us trying, this is us chipping away. So to you listening, to you watching, like if you have a dream, like experiment, you know, try seek change like in your own everyday life. Like, don't settle for a life less than you deserve, because anyone can get to success.
100% agree. Now I just want to add something to that.
Yeah,
Even so, whoever's watching this out there, it could be right now, it could be tomorrow, it could be 5 years from now, it could be 5 months from now. Look at Cylinder and I. Where we just decided to take action. We decided to experiment with change. We decided to, as Cylinder said, not settle for our everyday lives. We wanted more. Cylinder actually reached out to me and he was like, hey, like I spoke to Cylinder about my dreams of creating content and writing articles and stuff a year ago in 2023. And he reached out to me when he saw me putting content onto my Instagram and said, hey man, good looks, I'm proud of you. And that's what catapulted us into this moment. You never know where doing things that you enjoy is gonna lead you. And just yeah, I'm grateful for whoever's watching this, if you're listening and you listen to this far, and just keep going. That's for us. Keep going for me and you, Cylinder, but also for whoever's listening.
100%. And before we go, subscribe, like, comment, share, do all those things, because every little thing helps us.
Share this onto your Facebook, share this onto your Instagram, put it on Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat, but put it on Snapchat. Put it on every single social media platform you can think of. Thank you.
Yeah. You grew up in an environment that was hostile. It got wild. Arguments you heard as a small child had an effect.